What if I told you?
Right. You want this?
What
video.
are you telling me, woman?
This is from the channel African Intellectuals, of course. So now this lady is going to explain time to you, and this is how different cultures around the world view time.
It's an illusion.
Be forewarned.
Spoiler alert.
What if I told you that for many African societies, the concept of the future doesn't exist, and that instead of time moving forwards, time actually moves backwards? This was the work of John Mbiti, one of Kenya's and Africa's greatest philosophers. And in 1969, he wrote something that completely reimagines the way we think of African time. Mbiti says time is a two-dimensional phenomenon with a long past, vibrant present, and virtually no future.
All right. So, as I said,
based.
things have happened, right? So there's a long trail of things that have happened. There is the vibrant moment that you are living in currently and the near future, so it extends a little bit, things that are about to happen. But there are no events in the future. There is nothing out there yet because it has not happened. So, for instance, let's talk about maintenance, okay? If you have a roof, and it's like, well, at some point you need to maintain it so that it doesn't rain, right? But then you can't maintain it. No. You can't maintain it when it's raining, and when it's not raining, you don't need to maintain it. So they never do. So it's why these countries fall apart so quickly. Is like their foundational like presuppositions about the world, about how like time works and all these things are just, it's like nonsense. It's like a fairy tale land. It's how they think about things.
Using Swahili words, he describes the two dimensions of time. The first one being Sasa, the now, the recent past, and the immediate future, which can be experienced. The second dimension is Zamani. Zamani is the vast, endless past where all events eventually go on to live forever. But the future in African thought, it barely exists because time is made up of events. Time has to be experienced in order to be real. So because we can't conceptualize events tied to the distant future because they haven't been experienced yet, then therefore the future cannot constitute part of time. And this
What
a
What
wacky
the fuck?
philosophical idea. So you cannot experience things yet. You can't conceptualize things that have not happened yet. Because for them to be real, to be part of time, you have to actually experience them. If they're in the future, you can't experience them, right?
I feel like I found
my
Logan's
30-year
homeland.
mortgage does not exist because I don't know.
Well,
I
okay,
don't know what it'll
you
be
say
like.
that, but listen, I have a Dodge Charger today.
Exactly.
I don't have to pay the 20% interest APR and my $1,200 monthly payment till next month, which that hasn't
Doesn't
happened
exist,
yet. So I can't experience it yet, right?
This is true, brother.
This is why, according to Mbiti, African languages, at least the East African Bantu languages that he studied, don't have a word to describe the distant future. In African time, according to Mbiti, events create time. Seasons, ceremonies, a conversation, those moments produce time, and people produce as much time as they need. An example that Mbiti uses from the communities that he studied is that a year is measured based on 4 seasons, 2 dry seasons, 2 wet seasons. So a year is only over when those 4 seasons have taken place. So a year could take 365 days, 390 days. It doesn't matter the number of days in a year. What matters is that the 4 seasons have taken place. And this is in contrast to the Western view towards time, where time is a commodity, something that can be spent, saved, wasted, or lost. And according to
Right, because we in the West we have this standardized time, right? So we understand how many hours are in a day. So time is not relative based upon my actions to it. Time is like an objective thing that we can measure, we can test, we can observe, right? So because of that, if I realize there are 24 hours in a day, I need to sleep for 6 to 8 of them, and I need to do this, which is going to take 4, I can plan out my entire day, right? But if you don't have that presupposition, if you just have time is like this thing that only happens when I need it to happen because it's only tied to events, right? Because events cause time. So you have like your 3 things to do in the day, and you do them, and then there's nothing else, right?
Is this why they're always
This
late?
is their greatest philosopher, by the way. That's what she said, right?
One of Africa's and Kenya's greatest philosophers.
Premier philosopher.
Mbiti, this is why if foreigners come to Africa and they see people sitting under a tree, they would remark that, okay, why are these people wasting so much time? But in African thought, that sitting under a tree, it's not wasting time. It's either waiting for time or producing time. For me, I think this Western...
So it's literally not lazy because you are waiting for things to happen, right?
I'm waiting for random encounters.
Well, think about it. If you have like if you have in your agrarian society, you don't need really to forage for food, or if you do, it's very simple and it takes very little time. If you have access to easy water and, you know, it's not, the weather isn't going to freeze and kill you overnight, right? Your needs are pretty like easy to take care of. And then what you do with the rest of that 10 hours to these guys is literally nothing. You wait for the next event to happen. You wait for it to get dark so you can go to sleep. You wait for it to be light so you can wake up. You wait till you're hungry to eat. There is no like actual like set in stone time, right? So all that extra stuff that we like in America or in the West, we try to use that time. We spend that time on things to improve ourselves, our societies, whatever it might be. To them, it's just blank space. It does not exist. It's not actual time.
I can't believe they didn't invent the wheel.
How does this individual think that this is intellectual? Like, yes, this person wrote this down and said these things. So historically,
Africa's greatest philosopher, man.
Unfortunately,
you can't. Are you putting yourself on a pedestal with Africa's greatest philosopher?
I guess you know what? You're right. A black woman is speaking right now. I will listen.
Yeah, listen and learn.
An idea of time as a commodity is what drives this Western obsession of progress, development, and some promised future.
No.
And
well, no, she is not wrong there when she says that. So utilizing your time does drive progress, right? Because we, in our conception, are actually heading somewhere, right? Like, I realize that I will grow old and die. That is a real thing. Because I am aware of what will happen in the end days, I am moving towards that. I am progressing towards that. And there are things that I want to accomplish along the way, right? But if you are just simply sitting back and you're the passenger rather than the driver, you're just waiting for that event to happen to you for it to be real, right? Because it's not real until it happens to you. So whereas me, where I realize that I maybe have 50 years left, right? And only 40 of those are going to be any useful for doing things. So I got to get working on things, right? I got to actually move forward versus just being a passenger on this train, right?
We was kings.
Well, it's funny how Western obsession with progress, development, and some promised future. It's as if it really is. She's like presupposing that the future doesn't actually exist and it isn't something that's going to happen to all of us.
This future was promised to me 4,000 years ago.
is what drives this Western obsession of progress, development, and some promised future. And this difference shapes everything.
Well, Wyoming Gun Project says I bet all those books are in English. Keep in mind that for the most part, many African peoples have no written language. So it is all oral tradition, which isn't terrible. Oral tradition is fine. But many of these people do not even have a way to like pass on information or maintain information outside of a oral tradition.
From politics, economics, to how we live our daily lives. Because in African thought, the golden age isn't in the future, it's actually in the Zamani. According to Mbiti, the future is on.
So the past is where all the cool stuff happened and lives eternally, and the future doesn't actually exist. Which is why I was like, why have you not progressed very far in the last 4,000 years, or however long it's been without Western intervention? And there you go.
We gave this
only a shadow until it comes to the present, and then it flows into the Zamani. So in that way, time moves backwards. We are not the ones who move forward into time. So of course, Mbiti wrote this from a theological point of view because he was trying to explain the nature of African religion. But my main takeaway from the parts of the book that I've read is that unlike Western cultures and religions with end of the world myths, African time has no end. Seasons, years, birth, marriage, death, it's all a cycle. Asante kwa kutazama.
All right, which is interesting because philosophically, if your eschatology is, which is end times, that there is nothing, right, or there is no end time, that it is infinite, you're not actually moving towards anything. You're essentially a nihilist at that point. You're waiting for the heat death of the universe or something.
This is a fake pseudo-intellectualism, and I'm going to say that thankfully, the African people I've interacted with don't believe this. Thank God. This is some fake made up college pseudo intellectual, all right? Like this is we've
Are you sure about that?
Been there. I am sure about that. I've interacted with plenty of people in Africa and none of them are like, yeah, bro, like time just isn't like the future ain't really a thing. Like it's something that we
that is quite funny.
Yeah, it's your Western idea of culture or not culture, fucking time.
Progress.
That's what you're bringing.
Yeah.
Oh my
Western
God, that's
concept
so
of
silly.
time.
Jesus.
Yeah. Anyways, just in case you were wondering about African philosophy, and
I am now enlightened.
Yeah,
indeed.
I'm not gonna do nothing until something happens in my
I'm
life.
gonna wait for something.
Until I get hungry. That's
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. Well, it hasn't happened yet. You are actually saving time by not having anything happening to you, or producing time by sitting underneath a tree and waiting. I don't know how that works, but
I am making new time.
Vintage Welfare has a great point for two. Says quantum ebenoid theory.